Hey there. Really glad you tuned in again, and it's great to have you back. Orlando Bloom really turned my head right around. We had an elevator ride together after a film junket, and a film junket is usually produced by a studio, a film studio, when they have a movie releasing and they want to get as much press coverage as they can. So they invite members of the media to, usually it's in a hotel, sometimes it's other locations. And each member of the cast gets their own suite along with the director and the producer sometimes. And then each member of the media gets maybe 3 to 5 minutes, respectively, with each actor. And it's a grueling day, especially for the actors, the directors, the producers, because they're basically answering the same 10 questions all day long. And they're usually pretty kind considering what they have to experience. And this particular day, I was going to interview Orlando Bloom for I don't even remember what movie it was, but I had just done the LA Marathon. So I ran the marathon that day, and then I got in my car and I drove to the Four Seasons across town in Beverly Hills to do this film junket. And Orlando Bloom was my very last interview of that day, and I was his last interviewee. So he had no more interviews after this. And, I got the sense that we were both slightly relieved for it to be over, but I asked him my questions. He was very kind. He had great energy, considering this was the last of what must have been, almost 100 interviews. All scheduled out within that day. And so I thanked him. I left. Then you had tapes that you had to ship to the network. That's how dated this is. And so I got my tapes, I got my stuff, including my running gear, because I actually had my running gear along I had to change out of to do this junket, and my marathon number hanging in the outside the bag. And I pressed the button for the elevator to go down into the parking garage, and the elevator doors opened, and there was Orlando Bloom. And we both kind of had that funny exchange, and I kind of smiled, and I got in the elevator with him and the doors closed, and it was a little awkward, but I decided to say, wow, you must be so grateful this day is over, and all those, media members are finished interviewing you, asking the same questions. And he paused and he smiled and he looked at me and he said, you know what? We're both so fortunate to do what we do for a living. And the elevator doors opened and he let me go first. And then he followed and I went on my way to my car. But I never forgot that moment, at how profoundly simple it can be to shift your perspective, to be grateful for what you have in front of you, the opportunities you have, and how beautiful humility and the actual human connection can be. And it was even more profound to receive that humility and connection from one who is a household name. And it really taught me yet again, we are all one. We are all human beings with feelings and emotions and histories and backstories. And we are all in this together. So thanks again. It's great to see you. If you want to know more about me, go to susangold.us. There's a newsletter you can subscribe. There's a one-to-one chat. And I'd love to share my experience, strength, and hope, and listen to your story and where you are, because we all have one. And we are definitely in this together.